removing the in the second circuit, we are removing the signal AC signal, and we are just retaining the DC signal. In the third circuit, we are eliminating the DC signals. That means here we are having VBE as well as VCC. Both are getting eliminated, and we are just using AC signal. So this is how the separation of signal and DC quantities takes place. Now let us analyze. If this question is asked, explain the process of separating signal and DC quantities, like that. So what you have to explain is, if when both AC as well as DC sources are being given to the transistor circuit, what will happen? That is one case. Then if AC signal is eliminated, only DC signal is retained, what will happen during that time for the circuit? You have to explain. And the third case, if DC signal is eliminated and only the AC signal is retained, what will happen to the circuit during that time? What will happen to the circuit means how it is going to behave, and what is the expected output in during that case. So this is what we are expected to tell. Okay, so no need to discuss about any equations, because already the equations related to IC, IE, gain, everything we are done. Okay, so if yeah, this much is sufficient. So coming to the first part of the circuit, where we are having CE amplifier circuit, we know that primarily, already we have discussed that AC and DC both are necessary for amplifying a signal. AC is necessary because that is the signal which we are going to amplify. DC signal is necessary because that is the one which is responsible to keep the Q point in the particular operating region. So DC signal is VCC. So that is having that responsibility of shifting the Q point. So based upon the Q point only, this transistor is going to work as an amplifier. So the position of the Q point is very, very important, and DC signal, DC source is responsible for that. So that is the basic thing which we know. When both this ACL as well as DC are present, then only we are able to amplify the given signal. Here in the first case, you can observe the output is given as small v capital CE. Small v capital CE, that is the output voltage we are getting, because whether we are writing it as V naught or VCE, it is same, because output is always taken across the collector and other terminal to the ground. So other terminal is grounded means even emitter is grounded, so obviously the collector, across the collector and emitter only we are taking the output. Now my question is, why I have written small v capital CE in this case? Why I have written small v capital CE?
So because both AC and DC components are there.
Yes, both AC and DC components are mixed up. So usually in our practical amplifier circuits, what we will be doing to eliminate this DC?
So you'll be giving a capacitor feedback.
Capacitor.
Yeah. So we'll be using a coupling capacitor at the output. So when the output passes across that capacitor, it is going to block DC and we are going to get a pure AC signal. But in this circuit diagram, whatever we are discussing, in this circuit, we don't have any capacitor. So obviously the output will be the combination of AC as well as DC. So that's why I have written small v capital CE. Small v capital CE indicates the instantaneous voltage. Instantaneous voltage is always the sum of AC voltage plus DC voltage. So now it is the combination of both. So now we understood the importance of DC signal and importance of AC signal. What is AC signal? The signal which we want to amplify, or for the signal which we want to add the gain, is AC signal. DC signal, it is a signal which is responsible to keep the operating point in active region. So that is this is the importance. Next, coming to the second circuit, CE amplifier with elimination of the signal. So in this case, what we have done is we have eliminated the AC signal. So when you have eliminated the AC signal, we will be able to do only the DC analysis of the circuit. Here, this circuit, it will be giving out only the DC values. Whatever the input you are giving, the DC signal, now the DC signal is your input. So now that will be amplified and it will be given out. So here the Q point will be fixed in the operating region with the help of VCC, and whatever the VBE we are applying, that VBE will only get amplified and it will be giving out. So here the output, whatever we are getting, is pure DC only because input is DC. Coming to the third circuit, you can observe there the DC signal is eliminated. That means plus VCC and VBE both are eliminated. Only AC source is retained. In this case, when AC source is retained, in this case, even though we can tell it's in common emitter configuration, but still we cannot predict whether the operating point is in active region, cutoff region, or saturation region, because the main this source which is responsible in keeping the operating point was VCC. That VCC itself is absent here. So now we will be not knowing where actually the operating point is. So this kind of circuit analysis is known as AC analysis. We are going to test, we are going to analyze the circuit by just giving AC signal, and we'll try to see what is the output it can give. Without the help of the DC signal, how the circuit can behave and give out the output. This kind of analysis is known as AC analysis. Okay, in this AC analysis, we cannot predict the output because we are not sure where the Q point is, because the main responsible source for shifting the Q point is VCC. That itself is absent. So that's why we don't know whether the transistor is operating in active region, cutoff region, saturation. But only the only one point we know, that it is in common emitter configuration. There might be chance of working in active region, but we don't know it. So this is called AC analysis. So why we do AC analysis is we want to know without the help of DC signal how a circuit can, how a transistor can behave. For this is how the separating the signal and DC quantities takes place, and based upon this only we are going to classify it as DC analysis, AC analysis. So whatever we have discussed in this particular chapter till now, in the sense before small signal operation and modeling, so whatever the BJT, everything we discussed now, everything we have discussed only about DC analysis. We have not discussed about AC analysis. In AC analysis, we are going to neglect the capacitor, we are going to neglect the DC sources. Okay, so this is about this particular topic. Next is high frequency response or hybrid pi model. Is it still lagging?
No, sir, now it's fine.
No, sir, now it's fine.
No, sir, it's fine.
Okay, okay, thank you. So in high frequency response hybrid pi model, here what we are going to do is we are going to analyze the given C configured amplifier by writing the equivalent circuit for that, and we are going to discuss about how the frequency is how the circuit is going to respond whenever a high frequency signal is being given. See here, in high frequency response, we are going to consider even a small capacitor, even a small resistance. So capacitance and resistance are considered in this case, and we are going to consider the junction capacitance, junction resistance, and the internal resistance, whatever are existing. This topic actually we have already discussed in electronic devices, but again this topic is we have to discuss the same topic. No issues, we will discuss it. This is also one of the important question. They can ask you high frequency response or hybrid by modeling of BJT. So for that, we consider, sorry, this is C. So input is base, the output is collector, and the ground is emitter. So this is how we start drawing the equivalent circuit. So emitter is grounded. So entire thing is grounded. So we have shorted both the terminals. Now common emitter configuration we are considering. So for the common emitter configuration, so this is the common emitter configuration: base, emitter, collector we are having. Now when you take a transistor, BJT transistor, you have seen there are three terminal, right? Emitter, base, and the collector. Now inside this steel or metallic cap, inside this we are having our semiconductor material. Actually this is our transistor. To protect that semiconductor, we are going to cover it with a metallic cap, and we are going to give out this terminals. Well, the entire thing is a transistor, but actually only this part is our transistor. But to have the connectivity, we are using this metallic cap, because semiconductor material, if it is directly exposed, then it might get reactive with the temperature, or so the material can lose its structure. So that's why we are doing in this case. Now here, starting from this point, from this semiconductor material to the connection whatever we are having, we are using this extra wire. This extra wire is not actually the transistor, it is just for our convenience, compatibility. We are going to use this extra wire for this transistor. So this extra wire is having some resistance. That resistance is known as RBB dash and R dash also. that extra wire which we are connecting offers some resistance. Then you might ask me why you are using this extra wire in lab. See that we are considering that extra wire as resistance as negligible. That's why we are using it. But when it comes to pi model or when it comes to equivalent model, even a small resistance we are supposed to consider. Now, after this, between the base and the collector, between this base and the collector, do we have any junction between these two? Okay, we'll write the block
Yes, sir.
diagram approach. NPN, emitter, base, collector. Now, say from the base and the collector, we have a junction, right? Whenever a junction occurs, we have already discussed some kind of capacitances comes into picture. What are those kind of capacitance, or what are those capacitance we?
So diffusion and depletion capacitance.
Yes, very good. It is diffusion and depletion capacitance. When do we get diffusion and when do we get depletion capacitance?
So diffusion when the diode is forward biased and
Hmm.
depletion when it's reverse biased.
Yes, good. See, this junction is going to exhibit some capacitive behavior. That capacitive behavior is junction capacitance, what we call. And I have already explained how this junction capacitance is experienced. I don't want to repeat the same thing. If anyone has not understood, you can contact me. I'll explain it again. So between this P and N layer, a junction is created. That junction is going to exhibit some capacitance. That capacitance is known as junction capacitance. And for CE configuration, we know that input circuit is forward bias, output circuit is reverse biased. Obviously, the junction, whatever we are getting here, it is going to exhibit what kind of capacitance? Depletion or diffusion?
Depletion.
Depletion capacitance. So, between the base and collector, write one capacitor and call it as CB dash C. CB dash C. We are going to call. Now, between this base and collector, since we know that it is reverse biased, does it offer some resistance?
Yes, sir.
So obviously, if it is reverse biased, it offers resistance. And whether it is minimum resistance or maximum resistance.
So maximum resistance, sir.
Maximum resistance. So connect one resistor here. It is between the base and the collector. So and call this as RB dash C. So everything is in the figure only. The same thing we are writing it here. No need to buy it or anything. Same way, between the emitter and the base, do we have any junction
Yes, sir.
between the emitter
Yes,
and the
sir.
base? Do we have?
Yes, sir. We have junction.
Yes, we have a junction. Whenever there is a junction, it is going to exhibit a capacitance. Since this capacitance exhibited here is obtained because of forward biasing the input circuit, because we know for active region or for CE configuration, we are going to forward bias the input circuit. So now the capacitance which is exhibited here is diffusion
Diffusion
capacitance.
capacitance.
So we are going to write one capacitor between this. So it is CB dash E. Same way, write one resistor. It is RB dash E. After that, say for common emitter configuration, what is the current gain? What is the current gain for common emitter configuration?
Beta, sir.
Yes, good. Beta. So that is beta is equal to IC by IB.
IB.
So IC is equal to beta times IB. So we know that this is a constant value and this is the input current which we are giving and this is the output current we are obtaining. That means even we are giving microamperes of current, we are getting milliamperes of current means this part of the circuit, between the collector and the emitter, it is acting like source generator. It is acting like source generator or it is acting like charge generating units. Okay, so since it is acting like charge generating units, this collector and emitter, they are going to have a current source. Okay, so it is GM VB dash C. GM VB dash C. Why it is GM VB dash C? Because already we have obtained, even you can call it as IC also. What is the formula we have obtained for VB dash? Already we have obtained the equation for the collector current, right? IC is equal to GM into VBE or it should be VB dash E. This should be VB dash E. So GM into VB dash E, we have obtained the equation for collector current. Other than that, since we are taking the output across the collector and the emitter, we have a resistance, output resistance. Okay, this is the high frequency model or hybrid pi model. Now, this RB, R dash, BB dash is simply written as, it is simply written as RB. This is simply written as R mu. This is written as C mu for just our simplification, just for compactness. This wherever you get VBE, no, that will be written as C pi. This is written as R pi. Yeah, that's it. So this terminal we take it as B dash. Here this was written as BB dash. Why? Because this is the resistance from the terminal end terminal of the wire to the internal terminal of the base. Internal terminal of the base is B dash. So between this, whatever the resistance we are having, that is R dash BB dash. Okay. So this is the hybrid pi model for a transistor in CE configuration. So if this question is asked, you have to write it in three cases. The first case is hybrid pi capacitances. So where we are having CB dash E, CB dash C, and we know how CB dash C is obtained, how CB dash E is obtained, and we know CB dash C is depletion capacitance, CB dash E is diffusion capacitances. Now, after that, we are going to discuss about the resistances, different resistance, whatever we have obtained, RBV dash, RB dash E, and how we have obtained it. So these are known as the hybrid resistances. The wherever we are having pi, R pi, all those things are known as hybrid pi resistances. So this hybrid pi resistances, we are going to and I have already explained you how we are going to consider this resistance, that you have to explain. But considering this R mu, you should explain one parameter called early effect. Do anyone remember what is this early effect? Early effect. So it should be explained while explaining R mu.
Sir, I think it is the variation of the base width or something like that. We did it in last sem.
Mhm.
So is it the variation of the width of the base when we apply that voltage? Something like that, I remember.
Yes, yes, good. Yeah, you're almost near. Good. See, whenever you are going to reverse bias the output circuit, during that time, what happens? The width, the junction, whatever we are having, here I've just taken an example of the don't we are not considered any particular configuration. I'm just explaining with the block diagram. Assume that the output circuit is reverse biased. When you are going to reverse bias, during that time, we are going to this depletion layer is keep on increasing. The depletion layer was this much, it got increased to this much. Finally, it got increased to this much. When you keep on increasing the voltage which is applied between these two, so what is
So
happening
base
to
narrowing
the
takes place. So
base narrowing takes place? So that means the base is getting reduced. So finally, at some higher reverse bias voltage, the base is going to be completely eliminated. This is known as early effect. Once early effect occurs, then we are going to lose the transistor. So base width modulation or base narrowing is known as the early effect. That happens in this case. And after that, the third case, what you have to discuss is hybrid pi transconductance. So hybrid pi transconductance, you need to explain how the transconductance and current are going to depend upon each other. We know that the formula Gm is equal to delta IC by delta VB dash E. So the same thing we are written here. So why I have written delta? Because both are varying still. That's why, because this is instantaneous voltage, this is instantaneous current. So now the transconductance is directly proportional to the collector current. If conductance, if this is going to reduce, automatically this will increase and automatically the collector current will increase. So lesser the VBE value, higher will be the collector current because of increase in the conductance. This is what you need to explain. Okay, so that is about the today's class.